The goal of getting rich is to buy more things. Most people think they know this. They are looking at the wrong side of the ledger. The real conversation about wealth is rarely about what you can add to your life, but what you can permanently remove. Both paths promise a kind of freedom, and both have costs hidden in plain sight. Where do you stand? By the end of this, your answer might surprise you. The popular vision of wealth is a game of addition. It's the freedom to say yes. Yes to the front row seats, to the first-class flight, to the house with the view. It's the power to acquire objects, experiences, and status. This vision is compelling because it's tangible. You can picture the car. You can taste the expensive dinner. You can feel the sun on your skin in a place you once only saw in magazines. This is the simple, powerful narrative of more. It's about expanding your life, painting on a larger canvas, and filling it with brighter colors. This desire is primal. It fuels industries. It powers ambition. For most of history, this was the entire point of accumulating capital, to live better, larger, and more comfortably than before. It's a life defined by acquisition. That sounds like a perfectly reasonable goal. A life of curated additions. And yet, a strange phenomenon is reported by almost everyone who achieves this. The high fades. The third luxury car delivers a fraction of the joy the first one did. The 10th Michelin star meal becomes just Tuesday's dinner. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. You run faster and faster, acquiring more and more, just to feel the same level of happiness you started with. Each new purchase resets your baseline, requiring an even bigger purchase next time to get the same hit. The game of addition has a bug in its code. The satisfaction is temporary. And it's this diminishing return on happiness that forces a deeper question. If adding things eventually leads to an empty feeling, what if the real game was never about addition at all? This brings us to the other side of the equation, the philosophy of wealth as a tool for subtraction. Its primary function is the permanent deletion of entire categories of problems. The greatest luxury is a quiet mind. The cognitive bandwidth, freed up when survival logistics are no longer your primary operating system, is the real privilege. This is a much less glamorous picture. It has no sports cars or infinity pools. Its poster child is a person sleeping soundly through the night because a surprise $1,000 bill would be an annoyance, not a catastrophe. Think about it. A rattling sound in your car's engine. For one person, this triggers a cascade of anxieties. Can I afford the repair? Will I have to take on debt? How will I get to work? The problem isn't just the repair cost, it's the 2 weeks of crushing stress leading up to it. For a wealthy person, that entire emotional storm is deleted. It's reduced to a single, boring administrative task, a phone call to the mechanic. The problem is outsourced. The worry is erased. This power of deletion extends beyond sudden shocks. It buys back your most finite resource, time. A person with wealth can delete chores. They pay for a cleaning service. They can delete the mental load of meal planning. They use a meal delivery service. They can delete hours of administrative drudgery by hiring an assistant. Each act of subtraction frees up hours of life and, more importantly, frees up the mental space those tasks occupied. The focus shifts from managing the mundane to pursuing the meaningful. You are no longer the chief operator of your own survival machine. You become the chairman of the board of your own life. You can finally think. This silence, this absence of low-level static, is a fortress. That sounds like the ultimate form of liberation, a quiet fortress for the mind. It deletes the endless, grinding static of day-to-day survival, so you can finally focus on higher pursuits. But the mind abhors a vacuum. It's a problem-solving engine. When you take away its old problems, it will immediately seek out new ones. What rushes in to fill the vast, silent space that worry once occupied? This is where the argument becomes far more complicated. The problems return. They just wear a different uniform. The classic anxieties of survival are replaced by a new, more subtle class of anxieties. The worry of, can I make rent, is replaced by, is my investment portfolio properly diversified for a multi-decade timeline? The fear of, can I afford to feed my kids this week, becomes, am I providing my children with so much comfort that I'm robbing them of the resilience they need to succeed? These are often called high-class problems. One is a problem of survival. The other is a problem of optimization. The person experiencing them, however, feels the anxiety all the same. The human brain's alarm system often struggles to differentiate between a threat to your physical body and a threat to your ego or your meticulously constructed future. Stress is stress. That logic feels airtight. The body's stress response can be triggered by a stock ticker just as easily as a hungry predator. An existential worry about your legacy can keep you up at night as surely as an eviction notice. But this view misses a critical distinction. It's the difference between chronic and acute. The stress of financial precarity is a chronic condition. It is a low-grade, grinding hum of anxiety that never ever shuts off. It's the background radiation of your life. This has a profound, measurable physiological cost. It elevates cortisol, it creates inflammation, it disrupts sleep. Over years and decades, it physically erodes your body and shortens your life. That is the price of constant low-level survival fear. The anxieties of wealth are different. They are often acute, not chronic. A market crash is a spike of terror, but it typically subsides. The worry over raising your children correctly is a heavy psychological burden, but it doesn't usually carry the same immediate threat of homelessness or hunger. The trade-off becomes clearer. Wealth allows you to swap a set of chronic, life-shortening physical stressors for a set of abstract, often existential, psychological stressors. You trade problems of the body for problems of the soul. On paper, it seems like an incredible bargain. And yet, this is precisely where the picture darkens and the quiet fortress of wealth can reveal itself to be a different kind of prison. When the daily struggle for survival is removed, it can take your sense of purpose with it. For many people, their identity is deeply woven into that struggle. I work hard to provide for my family. I am building something from nothing. When the providing is done and the something is built, the question becomes, now what? This void can lead to a profound sense of drift and meaninglessness. The search for a new purpose becomes the new all-consuming problem. Furthermore, this new world can be profoundly isolating. Your problems are no longer relatable to the people you grew up with. Your anxieties about philanthropy or asset management are met with blank stares from friends worried about getting laid off. A chasm opens up. You become a tourist in the lives of those you love. Then, there is the fragility that this frictionless existence can breed. When you've successfully deleted most of life's sharp edges, your tolerance for any remaining friction drops to zero. A delayed flight becomes a personal affront. A minor bureaucratic hassle feels like a monumental crisis. You become accustomed to a world that bends to your will. When it inevitably fails to, the psychological impact is disproportionately large. The buffer that protects you from the world also weakens you. Finally, there's the tyranny of infinite choice. When you can live anywhere, do anything, and fund any project, the pressure to make the optimal choice can be paralyzing. The freedom from external constraints suddenly illuminates all your internal ones. So, wealth is an amplifier. It gives you the power of addition, the cars, the travel, the art. A world of glittering surfaces. It also gives you the power of subtraction, the deleted worries, the outsourced chores, the quiet mind. A world of buffered silence. But that silence is never empty. It is filled with something. It might be filled with deep work, creativity, and connection. Or it can be filled with a new species of anxiety, a profound sense of isolation, and the paralyzing burden of a life without guardrails. You simply trade one set of problems for another. The real question is about the quality of those problems. So, what do you think? If a windfall tomorrow deleted every last one of your financial worries, what problem would your brain invent to fill that new quiet space? And would that new problem be a better one to have?